on October 4th, and early reviews are already flooding in, and it's sitting at an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, considering we know how biased their film reviewers really are. It's probably more like adjusted average of 176%, given everything we know and how people are just trying to apply their own personal beliefs about modern day society to a film a work of fiction. You have some reasonable takes, but then you also have some, crazy people talking about how this film is problematic and it's something that you shouldn't put out at a time like this and all sorts of things. It's just the same veiled, I'm going to be honest with you, it's the same veiled anti-white male rhetoric that pretty much only exists on Twitter, as well as lamestream media, legacy media. And it's meant to, I believe, the takes are what probably started out as, hey, here's a great way to look, who's the largest group of people that are going to want to see this movie, right? So let's write articles that talks bad about them so that other people talk about it. I mean, that's just clickbait. I mean, look, my titles here, it's hard to stand out on YouTube. And a legitimate criticism of my videos, whether I'm talking about video games, movies, indie games, music, pop culture, whatever, my titles are sensational. They always will be, because that's how you stand out. Now, what comes along with that is, as I've seen, a lot of times people who only see your titles or only see your thumbnails have just the completely wrong perspective of you. So there's some of that. There's definitely some people that I think started out that way and now started drinking their own Kool-Aid. They had been writing these things forever, and now they believe them. Bring in Heather Antos. If you remember, she was at the center of the Marvel Milkshake Girls a million years ago. And if you look at her career past, it looks like she's growing in reverse. Started out working at Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, and now you're at Image and Valiant Comics. So it would appear that great opportunity that I'm sure you totally earned at Marvel didn't turn out to be much. Now, there was a tweet put out yesterday, which was fantastically put together by, again, Data Racer 117. I recommend following him on Twitter because, I guess him or her, I don't really know who they are, Data Racer 117, because they oftentimes just put together these masterful kind of images. Heather Antos, hired for her creativity and skill at Marvel, gets popular by copy-pasting somebody else's Facebook post, getting 13,000, 14,000 retweets and nearly 50,000 likes by now. Heather Antos shares, quote, "Why the Joker movie is problematic. Rachel Miller nails it." Now, I'm going to share with you some hilarity, some absolute irrefutable evidence on how the people that talk like this don't even believe the own baloney sausage they are spewing out of their mouths, and that they're only doing it for likes, retweets, and clicks. There seems to be a real kind of transitional period for comic book fans, movies, video game fans, where they start to care more about retweets than the actual hobby that they used to love. I think that many video game journalists, for example, probably started out as legitimate fans of video games. Many movie critics probably started out as legitimate fans of movies, except their employment hinges directly on getting readership, getting people to review or share your movie reviews, getting people to retweet your hot takes. This is what is tied to their career. And so giving a movie, for example, a fair review, just doesn't travel. Like completely writing garbage that is, I'm guessing, starting as something you don't even believe, but eventually morphs into something that becomes your ideology because, like a rat in a maze, you are warranted, or I guess a rat who hits the little pellet thing, every time you spew out some ridiculous hot take and you get a bunch of likes and retweets, it starts to change who you are a little bit. And I'm going to show you a perfect example of that. She shares this post about Rachel Miller. No idea who that even is. Okay, I've pinpointed exactly what it is that bothers me about a Joker movie. I don't want to watch a movie that shows us trauma that drove the Joker insane. Yeah, it's only part of his entire identity, but okay. I don't want to watch a well-intentioned but unstable man get bullied until he turns evil. I don't want to watch a man get rejected by women as an excuse for his future of bad behavior. I don't want to have sympathy for a man best known for his bad behavior and arguable other bad behavior for 2 hours. I don't want this to be sold as a relatable story so that it can happen to anyone with a bad enough day. I don't want to be around any of the lonely white boys who relate to it. Imagine writing this, but change the word white to black. Pick a different movie. I don't know. Do you think that that message is acceptable? I'm sure there are movies starring a black protagonist that follow this same kind of rhetoric. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure they exist. There are characters like this throughout history. The reason they are popular is because they are relatable. Now, when I grew up, I didn't idolize Joker. You know who Joker was to me? The villain in Batman. I never identified with Joker. Even with the Dark Knight Rises series, I never sympathized with Joker, not at any moment at all. So in this post, it's basically lumping all white men together. You know, there's a word for that begins with R, but it's just not used when you're talking about white folks. I'm sorry if that's a hard truth for you to hear, but it's a provable fact. This person, Rachel Miller, is lumping all white men together as people that would worship the Joker's bad behavior. That is, of course, ridiculous. Loads of people pile into cinema every year to see movies with villain or anti-heroes. Do you think the success of Michael Myers in the Halloween series, do you think that, you know, Michael Myers has a huge fan following as a man? How about Jason Voorhees? Do you think that he has a strong following as a man? Do you think there are a lot of people that sympathize with him? You know, how about Pennywise the Clown in It? Do you think that a lot of people sympathize with his behavior? No, of course they don't. And maybe there's some, but again, hashtag not all. But apparently that doesn't apply when you're talking about males that are white. Do you see what I'm getting at? I don't know if there's ever a good time for a movie that paints a bad person as the logical conclusion of a socially isolated, debatably neurodivergent white man by being failed by the system. Now, this is coming from somebody who hasn't seen the Joker movie, I imagine. It's August 8th. The movie doesn't come out till October 4th. And we don't know how Joker is painted. And I don't think that the general consensus of any fans of the Joker film, whether it's Batman in the Dark Knight series or some other version of Joker, I don't think that there are a lot of people out there that think, hey, this is the logical conclusion. I think there might be some empathy, which what you might be confusing as the logical conclusion. I think most people might look at the Joker character and say, well, I know why he got that way, but I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do that. You can't say because somebody empathizes with a character that they're going to go out immediately and emulate them. This is just pure anti-male rhetoric with no obviously provable facts. Now, we did have that situation in the movie theater during The Dark Knight Rises. That was unfortunate, obviously. But I don't know, 100 million people saw that film, and only one person was an idiot. I think it's this world kind of relies on outliers and tries to apply that to other people. It just doesn't work that way. I also don't want to see the narrative line be drawn up between mental illness and bad behavior, so it's done so often in the modern era to Batman villains. As is so common with the Joker in particular, I don't want to get highlighted and underlined in a Sharpie as well. I'm sick of the Joker. Well, Heather Antos, I can see why you would agree with this take, except for, oops, you have a huge long history of loving the Joker. Here we go, Heather Antos, another hot take. Again, I actually didn't even know this tweet was a part of this, but this is exactly what I mean. You're taking the behavior of one person who's unstable and applying it to everybody. That line of thinking is reductive, regressive, and it is only rewarded on places like Twitter. And Heather Antos, you have a big problem with Joker, huh? Oopsie, here you are doing nothing but worshiping Joker over the last several years. Painting of the Joker I did a few years back. Hashtag throwback. Hashtag Batman. Here's another reply. To speak for myself, LOL. Yes, I love Gambit, but I'm more so fond of Loki, Magneto, and the Joker. Here's Heather Antos from November 2013. The Joker will always hold a special place in my heart. How about from September in 2013? You can't spell this other word without laughter, another Joker meme. How about in 2014? Who's your favorite superhero villain? Well, we are big Hulk fans over here, so of course the wee mention of Saltier, villain-wise, Joker reigns supreme. Reply, good choices, good choices. As demonstrated in just a few years of being a part of this reward for hot take system, Heather Antos has clearly forgotten all of the heaps of praise she's placed on Joker. By the way, a character that has been popular for, 50 years now, widely known, one of the most popular. And when I say popular, I'm not saying like beloved. I'm just saying one of the most popular characters in DC Comics. He's synonymous with Batman. And you'd be hard-pressed to find people who know of Batman and don't know of Joker. But, you know, it's this system that Twitter provides that people that work in the industry with blue check marks get subjected to, that they start posting stuff like the Joker movie is problematic just a few years later. So which is it, Heather Antos? Is the Joker your favorite, or is he problematic? I don't think you can have it both ways. I suppose you can choose it, but this is the dopamine here. 45,000 likes. By the way, essentially plagiarizing another post. Didn't even bother to link to Rachel Miller's Facebook page. Maybe she's a well-known celebrity. I don't know. But for somebody who works in cinema, it's pretty interesting that you would be so obviously plagiarizing. I guess you give credit. But, you know, I don't understand. The movie received an 8-minute standing ovation. Some sparks of spicy things. Critics and social media posts from attendees of the film were concerned that the film's subject matter was trending on a sensitive ground. Maybe that's why the film will be so beloved. Maybe that's why the film will do so well, because it will address these things. I think you would have to be in a pretty dark place to view the Joker as the hero in this film. I haven't seen it, but I guarantee you I will be there opening weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, before you leave, make sure you leave a like and drop a comment on it. It's the only way to help the channel grow in today's YouTube environment. Above, you'll find a link to subscribe, and make sure you turn your notifications on, or if you just want to check out another video, there's one of those up there too.